In this presentation, we'll look at the topic of parenthood. Here are the following factors that need to be considered when deciding whether you want to be a parent or not. Your finances, the rewards of parenting, and the effects on the couple. Kids are expensive. That is a very universal, well-known fact. According to our textbook, the yearly cost for an infant can run upward of $14,000. Another study shows that a child born in 2011 may cost around $295,000 to raise. Opportunity costs are another form of financial loss that may occur. This refers to opportunities that one of the parents, usually the mom, may encounter. For example, whenever I was a baby, my mom chose to stay home with me, even though this resulted in half of my parents' income being cut in half. The rewards of parenting. The value of children perspective informs us that in the past, children were financially assets because they were able to help in the fields and factories. This is no longer true because children go to school, and there's child labor laws. However, the emotional significance of children has increased among parents. Some experts say that this is because parents find it safer to get attached to their child when there is less infant mortality. In the past, whenever infants passed away a lot, were less likely to become emotionally attached to their child because that would increase the pain of the loss. Here's some facts. A recent study shows that couples with children are more prone to believe that life has a purpose. Also, about 70% of both males and females claim that the rewards of parenting are much greater than the costs. And these costs refer to time and money, among other things. When a couple has a baby, things change. We need to look at the effects on the couple when we are deciding whether we want to have kids or not, or deciding the timing of when we have kids. So here are a few things that will change. Schedules, expectations, your flexibility, and roles in the marriage. According to Lamana and her colleagues, children in a marriage tend to stabilize the marriage, but the quality of the marriage tends to decrease. And what this is saying is that the marriage tends to be stabilized by children because parents find it more necessary, have more of a responsibility to provide a stable home for the child. But this doesn't necessarily mean that it is a happy marriage. And this is probably due to the added stress and responsibility of having a child. And stress and responsibility, as we all know, increases conflict. A study done in 2000 concluded that this may happen because couples in modern day tend to have children later, causing the child to interrupt the older parents' progressed career and independence. Trends in parenthood. As you can imagine, a consistent trend is that in the years of economic hardships, studies show that couples have less children. And here's a graph that we see in our textbook. As we can see that during the time of the Great Depression and the energy crisis in the 1970s and the recent Great Recession, at those times, the number of children per woman take a little dip. And this is not only due to couples choosing to not have kids because it's unwise to have a child you can't feed, but it's probably also due to, especially in the Great Depression, it's probably also due to women being unable to physically have children because of maybe a low body weight because they're not able to have nutrition. I'm sure there's also an increase in miscarriages because of the risks that come out of not eating healthily and not eating much. Let's look at the trends in family size. Currently, for about 50 years now, the ideal number of children is about 2 in the United States. This is not only attributed to preferences of couples, but this can also be attributed to the fact that because couples are having kids later, they're physiologically less able to have more children. In recent times, the average age for giving birth has risen from 21 to 25, and that's over the past decade. Another study shows that since 1980, birth rates for men 45 through 49 have increased by more than 20%. Remaining child-free, this is another trend that's becoming more and more prominent. A study shows that in 1990, couples were asked if children were necessary for the success of a marriage, and 70% answered yes. In 2007, this number dropped to 41%. It has been determined that women who do not have children tend to have more fulfilling careers. Other studies show that elderly women who never had children are less prone to depression than women who did have children. And our textbook explains that this may be because they developed more social support networks other than those that were given by their children. 21st century pros and cons. Their 21st century is interesting. Things are changing and becoming more progressive. There's more and different types of opportunity, and this shapes the family. We can look back on history and see the environmental, economic, and social effects on family. In 100 years, if we were able to look back, what trends would we see in the 21st century family? 21st century cons, or challenges. According to Bogan, the modern day parents have a big competition: technology, iPhones, iPads, TVs, Facebook, internet. What's the big deal? Isn't technology helpful? Isn't technology good? Technology replaces and oversimplifies community. So though there are some pros to technology, there's also some cons, and we can see that in the modern day. Technology isolates us. Bogan explains that we are becoming increasingly more independent of family, friends, and peers because of technology. Children learn from this. They watch their parents and they learn from how their parents live. And according to Bogan, many parents today are not simply willing to parent effectively because it takes time and work. For example, a parent may choose to type a really important message to a grandma or a family member because she doesn't feel like calling or visiting, and a child will pick up. Here's some tips from Bogan. After he addresses these kinds of technology, he gives families some tips. Get involved in community groups. Have a family night once a week. Schedule time to be social. Have boundaries when it comes to technology. For example, no phones at the table. Instead, have conversation about what's going on. Here's one more con that I would like to look at. So one more challenge from my own personal experience is the changing of family dynamics. And we kind of discussed this at the beginning of the course through the postmodern theory. Families are changing, and as Christians, it can be difficult to know how to explain that to our children. Mom, why does friend from school have 2 dads? In the modern world, how do we teach our children biblical truths without ostracizing or disrespecting the community around them? Here's some advantage to parenting in the 21st century: better research on child development, better health care, and changing work environments. It's clear that research concerning child development and education have advanced. Healthcare has also gotten better. Illnesses and diseases can be treated more confidently and successfully by doctors, and there are more resources for parents who may have a child with special needs. For example, my major is early childhood studies and intervention. I recently found out that parents who are financially eligible may be able to receive free early intervention from their state, and this includes free evaluations and intervention programs for their child. There is still a lot to discover. However, the knowledge of child development has significantly this decade. Here's another pro. In 1994, an article by Wagner predicted that the 21st century will bring more information technology or information systems. In this, they predicted this would allow parents to work from home, which would increase time spent with children. This is debatable because information systems also makes work more accessible, which could argue. Lastly, we'll look at paternity leave. This is definitely a more progressive idea. Though it's minor, I found research showing its positive effect between fathers and children. Rahil's study found that leave-taking fathers still gained a broader understanding of parenting than fathers who did not take leave. Overall, he found that this opportunity levels the playing field between mothers and fathers, allowing fathers to be more proactive and mothers to feel more support. The end. Thank you for viewing my